Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Live Sport Now and the England Golf Young Ambassadors. My name's Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, Steve. Hello, everybody. How are we doing? All right?
Yes, not too bad. Yes, it's been 3 weeks since the last podcast, so it's about time we got on there and started talking about junior golf, isn't it? And of course, it's the US Masters starting today as well. So it is the second official opening of the golf season, because we all know what the official opening of the golf season is, don't we, Ian?
Sunnydale Foursomes.
Sunnydale
That is the
Foursomes.
official opening of the golf season. 100%. The Masters is great. Don't get me wrong. It's on right now. In fact, I've been watching it all afternoon. I'm going to watch it this evening too. Did see John Rahm is decked out in his live golf gear, but anyway, that's another story. And yes, great show. Talking of Augusta as well. I don't know if you saw the holding.
Don't give something away, because it might be mentioned in the news.
Okay, I'll leave it. My lips are sealed.
Right, now this podcast is all about junior golf. It's about the next generation of golf. It's about getting more boys and girls playing the game of golf. This is show number 55. We've covered a lot of subjects in this podcast, but the vast majority of them are about promoting the game of golf and trying to get more players playing the game of golf. And this show is about one of those schemes which has been put together by England Golf, called Girls Golf Rocks. We're going to take a closer look at that and try and find out why it's been successful, what they've done, how it works, where it is across the country, and all that type of thing. So to help us out, we've got Lauren Spray, who's England Golf Women and Girls Manager, Laura Yapp, who's England Golf Junior Participation Manager. And I'm pleased to say as well, for the first time this year, we've got two England Golf Young Ambassadors live on the programme as well. Zara Wartnaby, who's been on the show before, and a debutant, Megan Grimwood, is going to come on. Both of those two have worked as volunteers as part of the Girls Golf Rocks. So it'll be interesting to see how they got involved, how it worked with them. And also, not just talking about Girls Golf Rocks as well, because England Golf are launching a new campaign. It's launched a week ago, called Get Into Golf Rookies. And basically, it's Girls Golf Rocks, but it's for boys and girls. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. So we're going to hear from Lauren and Laura. They're going to talk about exactly how that works as well. But two really important schemes, don't you think, Ian?
100%. Girls Golf Rocks, I remember when it first started. Actually, it's been a few years now, hasn't it? And of course, we've had Aaron Cox on the show a couple of times. He's a big advocate of that, to great success too. So it is schemes like this which is going to keep the game growing, really, because it's difficult to get people's attentions when there's a number of sports around, and this is a very, very good incentive.
Right. Now, just give us the background of how people can get involved in the Progress Junior Golf podcast for us then, Ian.
Yeah, as ever, we are live, of course, unless you're watching a repeat, but still get in touch if you're watching a repeat anyway. It is Thursday, the 11th of April. Right now, it is 4 minutes past 8. That's how live we are. Do get in touch with us, though. It's an interactive show. We want to hear from you. If you've got a question or a comment, or you want to have your 2 pence worth, please do. There's the live chat right up there. Scan the QR code. It'll take you straight through to our YouTube channel where the live chat is open. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. So do get in touch with us on any of those platforms, but that is the best place. Whilst you're over there as well, just hit subscribe too, because we've got a lot of live golf coming up in 2024 for you as well. Steve, over to you.
Right. First things first then. Let's do the junior golf news then. You kind of alluded to it. You wanted to mention it. But let's start with the big news then. Augusta National Women's Amateur Championship, friend of the podcast, and someone who won the Sunnydale Foursomes 2 years ago, must like the playing in these tournaments early in the year, because Lottie Woad has only become the first ever European golfer to win the Augusta National Women's Amateur Championship. Of course, the final round does take place at Augusta National. And she did it in style as well, because the 21-year-old, she won by one shot. Actually, she was leader going into the final round. I wouldn't say she struggled a little bit, but obviously, some of the players caught up with her. But then last 4 holes, 3 birdies in the last 4 holes, including birdieing the 17th hole and the 18th hole. And she finished 1 stroke ahead of American Bailey Shoemaker. So well done to her. She's a student at Florida State University. So on the back of that, she now qualifies to play in the US Open, the US Women's Open, and also the Women's Open, which take place at St Andrews this year. And I know you're a good friend of her. And I only found this out this evening. I've got a feeling I know why you're a good friend of her.
Yeah, she's a Leeds United fan. Yeah, she is. I know her dad quite well as well. They're both members down at Farnham Golf Club, which is a club that's very close to me as well. And I've had the huge pleasure of being present and actually broadcasting Lottie Wode's win at Sunningdale Foursomes and her win at the English under 18s. I think it was the English under 18s at Farnham as well a couple of years ago. So, I've had the real pleasure of being first on the green once she's sunk the winning putt a couple of times. And I can tell you, you don't need me to tell you this, she's got a big future ahead of her. Do you know what? Right, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to put any extra pressure on Lottie, but it doesn't really matter what I say, to be honest, anyway. But I'm going to say she's going to finish top 10 in one of those two majors this year.
Wow, that would be some statement. That would be, and credit to her as well, because she's staying in the amateur ranks for the time being. She could quite easily turn professional just on the back of what she's done. So well done to her. Right, and also if you're watching the US Masters this week, just think about the fact that she birdied the 17th and 18th hole. I bet there's going to be some professionals who take that come Sunday evening, and if they go on and win the tournament, then well done to them. Right, now staying with the junior golf news, then let's work our way across the Atlantic. Then starting Ireland, then Irish Boys Amateur Championship took place. Familiar name once again, mentioned on a lot of occasions on this podcast. Sean Keeling has won that competition by 7 shots, 135, 7 under par. He finished. It was actually reduced to 36 holes due to the strong winds there. Robert Gary finished in second place, tied alongside Sean Cloonan. Staying over in Ireland, it was the Irish Under 21 Junior Open Elite Tour event that took place at Lough Erne. The winner there was Ben Oberholzer, an Irish golfer, and another Irish golfer won the Ulster Under 16 Boys Amateur Championship as well. That was Patrick Tuffy. On this side of the Irish Sea, then back over to the UK, the Stephen Gallagher Foundation Classic that took place at Gossick Golf Club over in Scotland. Boys winner was, how about this for a surname? This is not a surname you want in golf, is it? Callum Hook.
Oh, well, no. But
you can see the headlines, can't you? You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he's got a golf game because he won the tournament. He won the boys' competition. Roisin Scanlon, who's an Irish golfer, she won the girls' competition then. So well done to Callan and Roisin. Staying in Scotland, it was the R&A Student Tour Series that took place at St Andrews. The final there, boys' winner was Ryan Griffin. The other Irish golfer. It's been a good week or so for the Irish golfers. Girls' winner was Lucy Jameson from England. We'll flip over to Europe for a second. A couple of French competitions took place. The French International Boys Championship. The under-18s champion was Oscar Kulin, and the under-16 champion was Michael Mayer from Germany. And the International Junior Ladies Championship, under-21s won by Lily Reiter, and the under-18s was Nagor Martinez. Same with the international golf then. Mentioned about the Irish doing well. Well, they had the quadrangular. Easy for me to say. 4 of them in it. Let's go with that. 4 teams in it. It was Ireland, Holland, or Netherlands, I should say, Scotland and Wales. And Ireland won that, though. Really close match, though, because they all played against each other. Ireland actually drew the first 2 matches, but was still in the competition going into their final match against Wales. And they won by 1 point. And that was enough to take them to the top of the leaderboard. So well done to Ireland for winning that one. Another international match took place. This was a mixed international match, junior under 16s, Spain against England, and Spain won that one. So well done to Spain. Back over to England then, just a couple of tournaments to mention. The Fowler Series, we've got a photo of the winner here. It took place at Brocket Hall, which is the first junior tour event of the year on the Fowler Series in this country. That's Josh Thompson, because he won the overall competition. And bear in mind, this is for under 21s. Josh is actually in the under 16s category. So well done to him. So beat some really good golfers there. And what a finish as well, because his scores were 77, 70 and 74. But his last 6 holes, he was 1 under par. And going down the 18th, it was level between him and James sorry, I forgot who the person who was for a second, but basically it came down to the 2 of them. The person who was playing against Bogan the last hole, he got a par, and that was it, won by 1 shot. James Baxter was the one who won the under-21s competition, and he birdied the 18th hole to win by 1 shot as well. The 2 girls competitions, a lot more straightforward there. Maya Hatcher won the under-16s, and Georgia Newbold, another player who has been mentioned on the podcast on a few occasions. She actually qualified and played in the Fowler Series Grand Final over in the UAE last year. She won the under-21s category by 5 shots. And just finally, competitions which I organised on the Shires Junior Golf Tour. We had our first event of the year, which took place at the Forest of Arden. You ever been to the Forest of Arden, Ian?
No, I haven't actually. Never.
Very, very nice golf course, championship golf course, but it was a little bit wet, shall we say. Fairways were great, greens were great, but anywhere where you walked, anywhere between the fairway and the green, it was a little bit damp, shall we say. So there were some guys had a bit of a practice on the day before. Basically, if you went about a yard off the fairway, you do well to find your ball. So we obviously had to change the rules a little bit to make it a little bit fairer. But Josh Gardner, who played in that England international, though, he hit the first tee shot in that game, in that competition. And he shot a 1 under par gross round. So well done to Josh for winning the gross prize. And then we had another event on the Friday at Ashby Guys and Woburn Sands. Got there at 7 o'clock in the morning after set me at 5 o'clock.
No,
rained off. Yes. So yes,
been there many times.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's been the story of our winter, really, hasn't it? Not been great weather-wise, but hopefully things are improving. And we shall start having a few more golf competitions.
Well, the weather's better. The weather's a lot warmer now. A lot more.
Yes, warmer, just not necessarily drier. That's the thing which we need. So, but yes, that wraps up the junior golf news this week. Then, so now we're going to be looking at a subject which, well, we're all about on the Progress Junior Golf podcast about trying to promote the game to the next generation of golfers, and we have on many occasions we've covered girls golf, but today we're going to look at girls golf and then also a new one as well, which is mixed golf as well. So we're going to look at girls golf rocks, and to help us out, well, we need a couple of people live guests on, don't we? We need a couple of proper guests on, not just you and me who talking a load of nonsense here. Let's get some
nobody wants to hear from Steve. No one cares about us.
Right, so we're going to have Megan Grimwood and Zara Wartnaby who are going to be on the show live. So let's welcome those two on, and then we shall be.
Well, I'm going to head off then, Steve. I'm going to hand over. In fact, we might have an issue with Zara's camera a second. We can't see you, Zara. So if you turn your camera on, that'd be great. We've got Megan here, though. Steve, I'm going to hand over to you. I'll see if I can help Zara out, and I'll see you a little bit later, everybody.
Right, let's start with the Zara's obviously in darkness. The lights have gone out at Zara's house though, but Megan's here. So right, let's talk about girls golf rock then, because I know that you didn't necessarily start out in that, but you certainly played a role in it. Then just explain a little bit more about what girls golf rocks is then.
For me, Girl Golf Rocks is getting people who have never played golf before into golf. So like people from your school, people from your local community, and it's just having a bit of fun whilst also having a go at something new, and then it can progress into actually playing golf.
So I say that you didn't really start out in golf through Girls Golf Rocks. How did you start out then? Just explain your background and how you first got into golf.
So my brother started playing, and then eventually I got a bit bored, so I had to go, and then I've just stayed since.
And how old were you at then?
9, I think. 9.
Okay, so the Girls Golf Rocks is probably aimed at that type of age group, isn't it? Someone who, I mean, you say your brother played. How old is you? Presumably your brother is an older brother. Is that correct?
No, he's younger.
He's younger, so he started even younger than you then.
Yeah.
So how did that feel then? I mean, your younger brother.
Yeah, doesn't play anymore, which is nice. But yeah, it's it's all right.
Right, before we carry on then, let's get a little bit more background information then on Girls Golf Rocks then, because we've got Lauren Spray from England Golf, who's the England Golf Women and Girls Manager, and also Laura Yapp, who's England Golf Junior Participation Manager. We're going to talk to Laura a little bit more later on about the Get Into Golf Rookies, which is a mixed program. But let's hear more from Lauren about what Girls Golf Rocks is. This is what Lauren had to say.
Started back in 2016. We had 4 clubs in one county, which was a pilot county in Essex. From there, we've grown every year, adding new counties and more clubs to the programme. And so we first had our national programme rollout, which was meant to be 2020. Unfortunately, COVID got in the way of that. So we actually didn't do our proper first rollout until sort of 21, 22. And from there, we've now got around 200, I think our max was 250 clubs who applied to be part of the programme. And we've had somewhere around 200 to 250 clubs nationally that have worked with us to deliver the programme specifically to attract new girls into the sport.
So you say it was there to attract new girls into the sport. Then why did you want to do it at that stage? Why was it so important?
I think it was really important for us because, and there still isn't very many girls only opportunities. When you look at a lot of the research into why we need to provide girls only opportunities, girls become body conscious at the age of sort of, when I first started the programme, 7 or 8 years old. They don't necessarily want to always play alongside the boys. So by providing an opportunity that was girls specifically only, it provides. Started back in 2016. We had 4 clubs in one county, which was a pilot county in Essex. From there, we've grown every year, adding new counties and more clubs to the programme until we first had our national programme rollout, which was meant to be 2020. Unfortunately, COVID got in the way of that, so we actually didn't do our proper first rollout until sort of 21, 22. And from there, we've now got around 200, I think our max was 250 clubs who applied to be part of the programme. And we've had somewhere around 200 to 250 clubs nationally that have worked with us to deliver the programme specifically to attract new girls into the sport.
So you say it was there to attract new girls into the sport. Then why did you want to do it at that stage? Why was it so important?
I think it was really important for us because, and there still isn't very many girls only opportunities. When you look at a lot of the research into why we need to provide girls only opportunities, girls become body conscious at the age of sort of, when I first started the programme, 7 or 8 years old. They don't necessarily want to always play alongside the boys. So by providing an opportunity that was girls specifically only, it provides that opportunity for girls to feel comfortable, to gain their confidence and to make new friends with the girls that are also going through the same opportunities. So that was why we put a girls only offer in place. There's such a huge disparity between the number of girls and boys playing golf as well. So we really wanted to try and provide that safe environment for girls to learn the sport, and hopefully if they wish to take it further, they have that opportunity into clubs that are looking to support the girls the whole way through the pathway.
And you mentioned there the different types of girls that it's aimed at. So who is it aimed at? Is it literally from the age of, I don't know, you tell me the age bracket and the type of golfer it's aimed at?
So age bracket is 5 to 18. Clubs can obviously then look to reduce or narrow that age bracket depending on who they're wanting to target. I appreciate some girls might not want to be like a 5-year-old alongside an 18-year-old. It equally makes it probably sometimes a little bit more complex when a coach is looking to facilitate a session, but equally it's just open to all girls who want to come along, who have either had a little bit of experience or are picking up a club for the first time. So it's generally aimed at those girls that are literally new into the game.
And you mentioned there right at the start that it first started out with 4 clubs in Essex. So where does it go now? I mean, it literally is it nationwide? Is it everywhere?
Yeah, it's nationwide. We do a club application and facilities application we started open that in December and that closed in the end of January this year. We're looking that we've got about 240, 250 clubs that we'll be running this year's programme with. And that's obviously coincides with our rookies programme as well, which my colleague Laura will be talking to you a little bit about later on. But yeah, in terms of that, we're really excited that we're now on a national, every single county will have an opportunity for the girls or boys to come and learn to play golf with us as part of our programs this year.
Okay, so that's obviously Lauren Spray there, who's England Golf Women and Girls Manager. By the way, the bit at the bottom there which says Laura Yapp, that's because we were using Laura's laptop when we did that interview earlier this week. Right, pleased to say Zara is back and we can see her. The lights are back on in your house there. Did you have some kind of a power cut or what happened then?
It disconnected from my laptop and went onto my phone instead, and I didn't realise that it had done that, but I fixed it.
That's okay. These things happen. Right. So obviously, I had a chat with Megan earlier about her background in Girls Golf Rocks and her background and how she actually got into golf. Just explain your journey into golf, where you started, what kind of age you were.
I started when I was 7, and I got into golf because, well, most members of my family on both sides play golf. So it was a bit sort of inevitable for me to follow that sort of path. So yeah, that's how I got into golf.
It wasn't through Girls Golf Rocks, though. You were very similar to Megan in the sense that you started off in a completely different way.
Yeah, I started off obviously through family, and Girls Golf Rocks wasn't really a thing when I first started. Obviously, I was only 7. So I just joined a local golf club and had lessons once a week, and that's how I got into it.
But like Megan, you've been involved with Girls Golf Rocks. You've done some volunteering work as well. So just explain when you first got involved with that, how it went.
It was really good. We had a good turnout, like every week. It was really busy. We had like 20 odd girls playing each week. It was really like a wide range and variety of ages, and everyone was really enthusiastic. And it went really well.
I'll bring Megan back in there now. So when you first started in golf with the Girls Golf Rocks, Zara mentioned there's probably about 20 or so girls involved with her session. Was that a similar number to which you were involved with as well?
I think it was, yeah. I think we had quite a few, and then it decreased a little over the weeks. But it still said.
And that was at the Leicestershire Golf Club, which I do know the Leicestershire Golf Club, and they've got a very big junior section there already, haven't they? It's a club which is very pro juniors, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how important is to have a golf club which is willing to give them the opportunity to play?
I think it's quite important because then it helps juniors get into golf, whereas there's some golf clubs that they don't like having juniors. So it's a lot easier to have one with loads than just be by yourself.
And obviously, it goes without saying here, we've got 2 girls on here, and it is Girls Golf Rocks. We are going to talk a little bit about getting to Golf Rookies, which obviously is a mixed program. But just explain how important it is for you as a girl. I'll ask Megan the question first of all here. As a girl, how important is it to have other girls around you in that environment?
It's quite good because they can be quite supportive, and then you can be supportive to them when they need it. Because sometimes it's nicer to have someone like you, a bit more like you than boys, to like support and talk to if you want to after like golf and stuff.
And I suppose when you actually do get around to playing a round of golf as well, generally speaking, you're off different tees to the boys as well. So it's always nice to play a round of golf on the same golf course almost.
Yeah.
Even at that early stage though, Zara, you know, I'm talking about when you first started out, were you the only girl at your golf club, or were there more girls than just yourself?
When I first started out, I was the only girl. I mean, there were only about 5 juniors at the time anyway, but I was the only girl. And then we had like one other girl about a year into me starting, and then she obviously didn't stick with it. So then I was the only girl again. So I think it's vital that you have other girls playing. You just feel like you're not like the only one, and someone else is in the same boat as you.
Is that a similar experience for yourself, Megan? Were you the only girl, or were there others in your group?
There was a couple others, but it was mainly boys, yeah.
And were the times where so I'll ask the question to Zara here, when that girl dropped out, did you feel as if, almost like my only person who I can relate to a little bit more than the rest of them has kind of like left me? Did you feel that way, or by then you'd already got the bug?
I did feel a bit sort of deflated when she'd quit, because I mean, like, obviously the boys had like other boys, and they sort of like stuck together, and they became good friends. So it felt like I sort of like lost my playing partner, but obviously I enjoyed it so much that I stayed with it. And
you Megan, you said that your brother doesn't play now, so you're kind of like the closest person to yourself at that time. How long was it before your brother stopped playing?
I'm not sure actually. I don't think it was a lot. I think he kept it up for a couple of years, and then it just stopped.
I kind of like use the word "you got the bug." Was that the same with yourself, whereby you kind of like got the golf bug, whereby it was almost too late? You'd fallen in love, and that was it.
Yeah.
And as far as Golf Rocks is concerned, and this is one for you first of all, then Megan, is your experience of when you grew up and getting that bug. How important is it when you're going into those sessions? Is to try and get them to fall in love with the game? How difficult is it to do that?
I think it's quite important, but it can be quite difficult because it is a very male-oriented sport for most people. But I think once you can get people into it and they love it, then it's just quite easy, I believe.
Have you, when you're in those sessions, you've obviously been there as a volunteer. When you're in those sessions, do you talk to the girls and do you say to them that, this is worth sticking with?
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to do that or encourage them to stay with it than not. I think it's just easier.
And what experience have you had as far as that is concerned, Zara, of trying to advise the girls when you're doing the volunteering to try and stick with it?
In my experience, I think all the girls sort of stuck with it because they learned to really enjoy the game as I did, and they hit a really good shot, and that's enough to keep them coming back, try and replicate that. So I think just the exposure to the game is enough to get them to stay with it.
I'm going to hear again now from Laura. From Lauren, and then we'll come back to you. Let's hear what more Lauren had to say then about Girls Golf Rocks.
Opportunity where they'll either run a free taster session, that's an optional part of the program, but they can come along for a couple of hours down to their local golf club that's obviously running the program, and they can experience that session usually for free. Then if they want to, they can sign up to their 6 hours of activity. So within that, they'll learn the basics in terms of grip, stance, posture. It's all about fun games, orientated delivery. They'll get to experience the different elements and aspects of the game, so whether that's putting, chipping, some iron play, things like that. And we do stipulate that the girls get the opportunity to go out on the golf course for at least an hour and their final session, just to go and see what it's all about and go and see the big thing that we all go and play around and hit that little white ball around a lot of the time. So that's the fun part, right, in terms of getting out onto the golf course and going and seeing what that's all about too. So we encourage clubs to facilitate that opportunity for them as well.
So that's if a junior is watching this, what they're expecting. What's a golf club? If there's a golf club watching this and they might not be doing it at the moment, what would your advice be to them about how they could get involved?
But they can always get involved if they want to email us at rocksandrookies@englandgolf.org and reach out to myself and some of the team. We'll happily have that conversation, understand that they meet our certain criteria that they need to deliver the programme. So they have their Safe Golf accreditation in place, their PGA Pro or their community golf instructor has their relevant Safe Golf accreditations too. And that they have ED&I policies in place as well. So we make sure that they're affiliated to England Golf, they're working with us, they're part of the family in that respect. And we'll support them in terms of providing additional marketing materials, and all that sort of stuff is all provided for. They have an online booking platform that they can take advantage of, which again we put national promotion into and drive the awareness over on a national scale to hopefully make that opportunity viable for them. We've also just signed up with Capri Sun. So Capri Sun are also running a campaign as part of their multi-pack offer as well, with free activity for children to get involved into different sports. So our taster sessions are all part of that campaign too. So it's a great opportunity for golf clubs if we're creating lots of opportunities for them to drive awareness, not just within golf, but outside of golf too.
We're obviously coming up to the start of the golf season now then. So when does it all start? When's the first session? Has it already started?
Not quite just yet. So we launch bookings on the 3rd of April. So that's when bookings can start from. But in terms of activity, we do stipulate to clubs that it doesn't start in May. If they have some taster activities, they are starting to starting from then as well. But definitely keep an eye on our website or follow us on socials, and you'll be able to see the opportunities that are coming out very, very soon. So we're just busy working away to make sure that everything's up online for people to book onto.
And if your local golf club isn't doing it, presumably your advice would be to say, come on, get in touch with your golf club and say you should be doing it.
Absolutely, yeah. Just get in touch with either your club, county, or support officer, or you can get in touch with us directly at rocksandrookies@englandgolf.org, and one of the team will gladly assist you to get on board with us.
So that's Lauren Spray then talking about Golf Rocks there. And one of the things she's talking about there is golf clubs and how they can get involved as well. Both of you two obviously have been involved with these, doing the volunteering at the golf clubs. What kind of reaction do the golf clubs have when they hold these sessions then? For you first, Megan.
I think they're normally quite good reactions, because a lot of people are quite glad to see more juniors get into golf. So I think it's always good to have the sessions, because like, it supports people and stuff.
I mean, I mentioned that the Leicestershire Golf Club is a club which does have a very big junior section, but I don't doubt that you've probably been into golf clubs which don't have. And in your role as England Golf Young Ambassador, is that something which, when you do go into golf clubs, you say, come on, this is something which will be really good for you? Is that a conversation you've had yet with those kind of golf clubs?
Kind of. I think it depends, because some golf clubs aren't a fan because they're more old-fashioned and they prefer like having more men and women members. And some golf clubs are really excited to get on board and promote juniors.
How difficult is it to try and get that message across to those golf clubs then, which aren't quite so pro juniors than the others?
It's quite difficult because I suppose it is quite a traditionally more adult sport, so it's quite difficult for people to like change, I suppose.
And your experience, Zara, of going into golf clubs which perhaps a little bit less junior friendly than others, how difficult is it to sell the package and say, look, this is good for you?
I mean, I think that personally, from my experience with my golf club, they took it really well. And actually, most of the girls that were there doing the Girls Golf Rock sessions were actually like the daughters or granddaughters of the members at my golf club. So obviously they were like on board with the whole program, and they were, getting involved and are very accepting of it. So yeah, that was my experience.
I mean, obviously, I'm wearing a Warwickshire golf top here, and I do work for a couple of golf counties. Is that a conversation you've had with golf counties as well, not just golf clubs, but also golf counties, to say, look, this is something you should be pushing out to the golf clubs within your county?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, if you.
Well, I'm involved in the Lancashire Girls Golf Society and Golf Association, and they, I've been with them since I was 7. And they do like nurture, and they like empower and inspire young girls to get into golf. And they were very much behind the Girls Golf Rocks, pushing that and getting that out there. So yeah.
I mean, I know we're talking about Girls Golf Rocks here, but I know in Leicestershire, for example, Megan, that you have got a very, very good Pathways Junior Tour for younger golfers, for boys and girls as well. Is that something which you try and push as well within your own county?
I think so, yeah, because you've got loads of different stages, which is quite welcome for other people. So like people who haven't been playing long, and then people who've been playing for many years. So it's quite welcoming towards like other people, not just the high level golfers.
Let's talk specifically about the actual day then, when you do hold a Golf Rocks session. Then let's start with you then, Megan. When they turn up, what happens? What does it? How does the session involve? What is it? Is it you go out on the golf course straight away, or is it a little bit? How does it work?
When we did it, we like welcomed ourselves to everyone, so to create like a friendly environment. And then I think we went on the range and then just hit some golf balls to get them started. And I think as the sessions progressed, it was more going on the golf course and like putting, chipping, stuff like that.
And presumably some of these were they almost complete beginners, never hit a golf ball in their life before?
Yeah, I think the majority of them were, and then there was the odd person who had been before.
And in those circumstances, look, we know full well golf is not an easy sport. So were there moments whereby you kind of like having to say to them, look, I know it is difficult, but we all think it's difficult.
Yeah, I think there is sometimes they can get quite disheartened if they don't hit it as good as they like some other people do. So it's quite good to be encouraging, saying like we all struggle and we all hit shots like that.
And I suppose in that environment whereby you have a lot of people who are at the same standard, it's not as if you've got a professional golfer there or someone who's scratch golfer who's making them all look as if, almost embarrassing themselves because they're all at the same standard at that age. I mean, how helpful was that, the fact that you had people who were going through the same experience, if you see what I mean?
I think it was quite good because it supported, so they realised it wasn't just them who couldn't hit the greatest shot, and like they were all quite supportive of each other, like, oh, that was a good shot when they were, and then it was just good to keep encouraging them.
Actually, it's a question I didn't ask either of you, but I'm just intrigued. What's your handicap, Megan? What's yours, Sarah?
Mine's 15.6.
And yourself, Zara?
9.4.
Okay, so obviously, both of you in close to or in around that 10 mark or something like that. So when can you relate back to those when you're part of those sessions? Can you relate back to those younger golfers and go, yeah, I remember that whereby I was swinging it 3 or 4 times at the ball and not hitting it once and things like that. Is that something whereby you had to kind of like almost go back in time and think, I remember that? For you, Zara?
Yeah, definitely. There were moments when I was volunteering where someone would get upset or disheartened by like their shot, and I'd be able to say like, oh, I remember when I was your age and I did that, and I couldn't do that either, and you just got to stick with it. And I think they like the fact that they could see, not to sound too big-headed, but they could see where they could go with it. But they could also see that because we had like a range of ages. We had girls that were like 12 and then some that were like 5. So the 5-year-olds would look at the 12-year-olds who could hit the ball a lot further, and they'd think like, oh, I will get there. It just takes time. It's
interesting you use the distance comparison there as well. And obviously we're talking about girls with different girls. Also, you avoid that scenario then of having a 14, 15-year-old boy or whatever who could hit it 100 yards further, and that can be a little bit demoralising as well, can't it? If you have that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely faced that when I was the only girl. You're constantly the only people that you can really compare yourself to are the other juniors at your golf club, and when they're all boys and they can hit it further than you, it does get a bit disheartening, and you're like, oh, I wish I could hit it as far as them, and then that leads you down a bit of a spiral where it's like, oh, do I stick with it? Do I not? But it's really good that you can have other girls that you can look up to that are all girls that you're the same age as you, so you can sort of compare on like the same sort of spectrum. I think that's helpful.
I'm just thinking for you, Megan, obviously with your younger brother, you could obviously probably at the same age, you could probably hit it further than him at that age, probably, could you or not?
I think I did, yeah.
You certainly can now. I think that's probably fair enough, is it or not? Right, let's hear from Laura then, Laura Yapp, because we've obviously talked about Girls Golf Rocks here and about what that package is and how that works. But obviously a new scheme has been brought in this year called Get Into Golf Rookies, and this doesn't just involve boys or just involve girls, it involves boys as well. So let's hear a little bit more about that from Laura.
Our Girls Golf Rocks program, a new Get Into Golf Rookies program, and with the success over the years of the Girls Golf Rocks program, we wanted to now introduce more opportunities for young people, both male and female, to get involved with the game. So yeah, last year we came up with a new brand, came up with the name in line with our Get Into Golf program, so it fits in wider with our Get Into Golf program around getting people to pick up a golf club and start playing and participating in the game. So yeah, we developed the Get Into Golf Rookies brand, and we are running that alongside Girls Golf Rocks in exactly the same way, exactly the same format. It's encouraging young people to get involved and give them the opportunity to play golf, but it's just for a mixed offer rather than the girls only one.
Was that something which came from the feedback from the Girls Golf Rocks, that there was a lot of positive feedback for it, but there was a feeling that actually we can do it with mixed groups as well as what we're doing just with the girls?
Yeah, I think Girls Golf Rocks is so successful in terms of what it does and what it runs, and it's provided a real starting point for a lot of girls to play golf, but integrate into the sessions within their golf clubs and the membership. But we felt we could offer that to everybody and more juniors. So we felt it was a real opportunity where we have a program where we have the sessions in terms of how it's set up, and we have that process to be able to open that up and provide more clubs as well with the opportunity to be able to run the program. And especially in those areas where there might be low number of girls, we can still get the girls in and play, but alongside the boys as well, and have that mixed offer. So it's definitely something we wanted to do and wanted to expand, and being able to provide that alongside and do the same format and exactly what we're doing, it just seemed like the ideal opportunity to be able to do that from an England Golf point of view.
So it sounds like probably an obvious question. There's an obvious difference with this than Girls Golf Rocks, but also there's similarities as well, isn't there? So apart from the fact that it's boys and girls, is there anything different with it?
No, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same process for the clubs to apply. It's exactly the same booking. Everything is the same from a customer experience. It's just a mixed session instead of a girls only. So they get 6 hours of delivery from the golf club. They get a goodie bag. It's slightly different. You've got to get into Girls Golf Rocks and get into Golf Rookies branded goodie bag, but they get the goodie bag. They get the sessions, either delivery from the PJ professional or the community golf instructor, and their experience is exactly the same. So yeah, everything's the same that they get, and we provide them. It's just a different name, and it might be a girls only or a mixed session.
And clubs, can they do both?
Yeah, so there's definitely opportunity to do both, and we have got clubs who have signed up to do both. So we've got some who are running just their Girls Golf Rocks because that's what they've traditionally run and it fits in with their pathway and what they're doing. And we've got a lot of new clubs coming on board, and they're doing one of each. They're doing a Girls Golf Rock session, and they're running a series of getting to Golf Rookies sessions. So definitely you can do one of each, or you can do just get into Golf Rookies and just Girls Golf Rocks. So yeah, it's a real opportunity for clubs to try the different models as well, and have that opportunity to engage with the girls and help them to develop and progress into their golf club and build that, but also to have that mixed element too.
So that's Laura Yapp, the England Golf Junior Participation Manager, talking about to get into Golf Rookies, which is a mixed program. So obviously we've talked a lot about the Girls Golf Rocks and how important it is to be girls on your own and learn the game on your own. Let's flip it the other way around then. How important is it then, start with you first then, Megan, how important is it then to have that interaction with boys as well, and what you can learn from playing alongside boys, not just being just a girls only program?
I think it's quite important because a lot of boys play a lot differently to how the majority of girls I know do. So you can learn a lot of new stuff, especially like how they hit the ball, what kind of process they go through.
And do you think they can learn from the girls as well?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's...
Go on, in what sense?
I suppose I believe male and females play a lot differently. So they can both learn off each other, like definitely different thought processes, like what they're going to do with the ball, stuff like that.
I was thinking as well, perhaps patience as well, and a little bit more... I don't know, maturity, is that the right word? Because girls tend to mature a little earlier than boys. Perhaps they learn a little bit from that as well?
Yeah, I guess so. I think, yeah, definitely.
What about Zara? What about your experience then? Do you agree with what Megan said then? Do you think that the boys can learn a little bit from the girls as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think we can learn from each other. But I think it's also important that you have like integration, because it's good to get to know like all juniors, because especially at my golf club, junior membership was always quite sort of small. So you need to have like good relationships and friendships with all juniors that you can, because there's so little of them that you can't like pick and choose like gender. So it's good to get to know everyone, so you're all like one big sort of junior community. And
the first question I said to Megan is that obviously, you know, Girls Golf Rocks is very successful. The mixed program as well. It is important, the fact that you do interact together, isn't it? And how important is that?
I think it's really important to interact together, because it sort of like, it reaffirms the fact that it's not just a sport for boys, and the boys need to be exposed to the fact that girls do play, and it encourages like encouragement, and I think it's good that there's interaction.
Something which Laura mentioned there as well, which I didn't mention or didn't raise a little earlier, is the fact that you get a goodie bag as well. Just explain what's involved in that.
I don't know what's in the goodie bag. I think it was a shirt. Yeah, that was it. It was like a purple shirt with like Girls Golf Rocks written on it.
Can you remember, Megan? Did you get it? Did you get one? Or?
Yeah.
And how, I mean, one thing which I organise quite a lot of junior competitions for boys and girls as well. And one of the things which, particularly younger ones, particularly ones who are higher handicappers, what I try and do is I try and give a prize out for everyone, just to give them, something from playing in the day. How important is that, the fact that they get a bit of a goodie bag? They get something for even just taking part in the day. How important is that, Megan?
I think it's quite important because it can be like quite encouraging for them to come back.
And what about the actual coaching on the day? Because obviously the whole point of it is, you want to get them involved, you want to get them to play in golf as well, but also presumably you want to make them to get better at the game as well. And how important is it to get that right?
I think it's quite important because you can also, like, especially with certain parts of the game, like driving, chipping, putting, you can make it quite fun, which is always encouraging for people.
And at what stage do you start doing that, though? Because obviously you don't want to start too early with the technical side of things. It's initially, presumably, particularly at that age, you want to start off with just the basics and trying to have fun and just trying to get the ball in the hole, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's more when like they want to go into it properly. So like after the program, and then they're like, oh, I want to take this up like properly. Then you can start all the technical stuff.
I mean, one of the things we've spoken about is how you get the clubs involved, how you get the counties involved. What about the professionals at your club, Megan, or the clubs that you've been involved with? How important was it to get that professional on board as far as this is concerned, and getting the right type of professional? Because as we well know, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, is the fact that there are some professionals who are good at teaching juniors and some less so, shall we say.
I think it's quite important because then you've got someone who knows what they're talking about. So they've probably done it before, so they've got the experience. Whereas if you've got like a random person, they're not really going to know what they're on about. And plus, the professional, if they do go into it, they can like see him or them more often, like afterwards.
And also, generally speaking, the vast majority of professionals are males as well. So how difficult is it? How often do you see it whereby you think you probably don't relate to the girls as much as you would do the boys? Is that an experience at which you've faced, Megan?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
What about with yourself, Zara? Is that something whereby you've had that experience whereby a professional, because it's male, doesn't quite relate to what a girl would face? Is that a fair comment?
I think they don't really understand what your experience is like within the golf club, and like starting out and being sort of isolated. I don't think they understand that, but like I know from my experience that all the professional golfers that have been at my golf club and have given me lessons and taught me, they've always been really nice and welcoming, and they haven't treated me any differently, which I think is most important.
But you see my point about the fact that there aren't many female professionals out there, and is that something whereby, with Girls Golf Rocks and even the Getting to Golf Rookies, sometimes it might be good to have a blend of female coaches, which would help as well.
Yeah, it would definitely help to have more female professional golfers leading the sessions. I think that would be really inspiring and motivational for all the girls taking part. But I think that's the sort of role that the volunteers played, like Megan and I being the volunteers for those sessions. We sort of acted as like, not only a helper, but also like sort of a role model for like what they could grow up to be if they stuck with it.
Let's stay with that point then. I'll ask Megan for this first of all. Why did you want to get involved with volunteering with this then? What appealed most about it?
I think it was getting more girls into golf, because when at my first golf club there wasn't loads, and I think when I moved to my other golf club there was like one other, and I really wanted to get other people in, like not just to play with, but like to inspire people.
And is that something which you took back into school at the time? Did you speak to your friends at school and say, come on, why don't you try this?
Yeah.
Did it work?
No.
Okay, so obviously girls golf rosters has been very successful. Is there any particular reason why you think that didn't work then? Why they didn't take it up?
I think it was mainly because it's a very stereotypical, like, old man sport, I suppose. I think that's what everyone I've ever said to, like, come play golf with me. They've always turned around and said, it's really expensive and there's not very many juniors. Like, it's more for older people, I suppose, in retirement. That's what I get told a lot.
And is that a stereotype which do you think is improving on the back of Girls Golf Rocks, Zara?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I know that most of the girls that were taking part in the Girls Golf Rock sessions that I was a part of, they were all sort of related to golf with like close family members. That's how they had got into it. And that's certainly how both Megan and I got into it. So I think it's like important that the word sort of gets out to like the wider community, and that like people get into golf that aren't like sort of born into it, and sort of like making golf like one of the mainstream sports that people think of when they're like looking for a hobby and looking for a sport to get into.
Okay, let's hear a little bit more then from Laura Yapp then, who's the England Golf Junior Participation Manager, talking about getting the Golf Rookies, which is the new version of this, if you like. It's one for boys and girls. This is what she had to say.
Get into Golf Rookies out straight away across the country for every single affiliated golf club or facility to be able to participate and get involved with that. So yeah, there's the opportunity for anybody to get involved with across the country. And we've also opened it out this year, so it's not just PJ professionals who can deliver it, it's community golf instructors. So this year we've launched the community golf instructor program, where people can train up to deliver activities and fun sessions. So it's not around the coaching, it's around the fun sessions, the activities, and making it a game-based session. So they can now deliver this program. So we've made it more games-based, more fun for that introduction to the game. So we've also opened that opportunity to hopefully get more clubs on board and being able to deliver and help them to be a bit more flexible with that too.
Sounds like I'm the worst interview in the world here, but I'm going to ask the same question again. Same time scale as well, though. So it starts in April.
Same time. Yep. So bookings open at the same time on the 4th of April. And we've got the platform where they can go on and they can search with their postcode and search for their club with the bookings and then find out. And it will list whether they're doing the Get Into Golf Rookies or the Girls Golf Rock. So they'll be able to see which clubs are providing the relevant activity to what they want to book, and then they can choose which sessions they want to book on from that.
And just overall, I know you're just talking about the Golf Rookies for the time being, but to talk about overall, what's the plan future for this? Is it a case of testing this out for this year and then seeing what for 2025, or is it a long-term thing already?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the first year we're doing it. So it's very much going to be learning for us from an England Golf point of view to see how both programmes run alongside each other, with having the Girls Golf Rocks and the Get Into Golf Rookies running alongside each other, and just evaluating how that works from a participant point of view, but also a club point of view and an England Golf point of view. And then considering that as we're delivering this year to look at what our plans are going forward into 2025 and beyond. But it's definitely something that Girls Golf Rocks has been successful over the last few years. So we're building on it with the Get Into Golf Rookies, and we're going to see how it goes this year and then plan for the future.
And I know you're obviously speaking on behalf of England Golf here, but this podcast does go across the UK and across Europe, I suppose, and the world. But what are the other home nations doing? Are they doing similar kind of things as well, as far as you know?
They all have their own areas that they're working with. I know some home unions have their skills challenges. They have the Golf Foundation, who are working within their local areas around the schools and community links with the golf clubs as well. So every home union is doing their own thing and providing their own opportunities. They haven't got a Girls Golf Rocks or a Get Into Golf Rookies, but they have their own programs, they have their own products, and they have their own support available to golf clubs to develop juniors and support them, because ultimately they're the future of the game. They're the next generation for us. So we want to be able to, across golf as home unions, be able to support and develop young people to take up golf, play golf, and hopefully sustain their participation for a long time.
Okay, just finally then, last opportunity then, give us the website, the contact details. Anyone who wants to get involved, how do they do that?
Yep. If you want to get involved, you can email rocksandrookies@englandgolf.org, and one of the team will be able to support and signpost. If you also go to the England Golf website, there is a page for Get into Golf Rookies and Girls Golf Rocks, and that will signpost you to the bookings once they're open. You'll be able to then book through the system and find out which golf course is local to you and which activity is most relevant to what you want to do.
So that's Laura Yapp, who's the England Golf Junior Participation Manager. Pleased to say that Ian has joined us just for the last few moments here of the podcast. So we've obviously covered a lot here, Ian. And what's your take on the girls' golf? That's it. Get the. Well, we've got to keep you in so you get your fee. What's your take on it all then? How do you think it's worked? And do you think it's been successful of what we've been doing?
Yeah, I do think it's been successful actually, because Megan and Zara have made some very, very good points. And I think it was Zara actually made a very good point talking about people being golf, and it's very true actually, isn't it? If you've got family members who have played as golf, you tend to go down that route, don't you? And it's a lot easier. Whereas golf is a difficult sport to just start up from scratch if you don't have any family who play. My dad, big golfer, my sister's a golfer, so it was almost a natural thing to me to go into golf. And I think you might have been similar as well, Steve, and obviously Megan and Zara too. So we're all talking from that type of angle. But I think Girls Golf Rocks is really a good way, and the rookies, to get people who perhaps their families aren't into golf, they're all into football or all into tennis or whatever, to try something new. And it's been going a few years now, Girls Golf Rocks, so it's doing something right,
As far as for you then, Zara, as far as the Getting to Golf Rookies is concerned, then how excited are you the fact that you're going to be doing something a little bit different than what you've been doing previously, a new package?
I think it's really exciting that this rookies that we get both genders, so it's like more integration. There'll be more people, bigger groups. So yeah, I think it'll be really good.
And also to bring Megan in on this as well. Laura mentioned there as well about the community people coming in as well, some community officers. So basically, for those who aren't aware, it doesn't have to be professionals now who can help out and do the coaching. It can be community people, parents, just any old adults can do this as well. How important is that, the fact that you get different people getting involved in these types of packages and these types of schemes as well?
I think it makes it like more community based. It's not like technical, it's more fun, like anyone can really get involved. And also I think it caters more to the fact that the juniors involved are a wide range of ages, so like a 5-year-old doesn't really need a professional golfer to sort of give them advice, because their advice maybe be like ball position or like keep your head down or something like that. So I think it makes like coaching more accessible to everyone. It's fine.
And what about you, Megan, as well? I mean, Zara used the word fun there. We did a podcast on fun. That's key, isn't it? Just to try and get the fun element in, whether it's boys, whether it's girls, whether it's mixed group. That fun element's the key part, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because I think it's more fun. If it's more fun, then people are more likely to stick to it instead of just like standing there and hitting golf balls for hours on end. And
trying to get rid of those stereotypes as well. And is that going to be your goal for the season? Is to try and get rid of those stereotypes? Is that going to be your target?
I'm going to try.
And what are the chances of doing that, Ian?
Oh, listen, Megan, you could do anything. Go for it. I'm very high, actually. Very high.
Right. Just a little mention then for what we got coming up then as far as podcasts is concerned. Obviously, we have 55 podcasts we've done now. So we've covered a lot of subjects, but just some ones which have just cropped up in the last week or so, which I'd like to do ones on, which we are going to be covering in the weeks ahead. We're going to be doing one on junior golf academies. We're going to be doing one on the mental side of the game. One which has just cropped up in the last week as well, which I'll ask a brief question to both Megan and Zara about this. Caddying. Juniors being caddied as well, because I ran a competition just this last week whereby we introduced caddying. Is that something you've experienced, Zara? And in which case, can it be helpful or can it be hindrance?
The only sort of caddies I've ever had would have been from my dad caddying for me. And it's helpful to have someone carrying your bag and giving you advice. So I think it's a good thing, but I guess sometimes it can sort of be a bit overpowering, a bit overbearing, like having someone there telling you what to do. Maybe, I don't know, I'm a bit on the fence about it.
What about you, Megan? Which way would you want to lead? Would you want a caddy or not?
Personally not, because I can't describe it, but like I think it can be quite annoying sometimes to be like someone telling you, oh, you should hit this club, whereas if you've got a different opinion, and then it can go into a bit of an argument, and then that's not always the best thing.
So it's fascinating, isn't it, Ian? Because obviously not two completely different, but not far off, two different ideas there, and that's the type of thing where you have with these types of subjects sometimes.
Yeah, I'd love somebody to carry my bag for me. Absolutely love it. Tell me what shots I need to play and what club to use.
Right, so that's obviously one of the subjects which we are going to be looking at in the weeks and months ahead as well. We're going to be covering a lot of subjects on the Progress Junior Golf podcast. Just a quick mention as well for the website, which did another update, got some more competitions on there. We're now over 1,400 junior competitions on the Progress Junior Golf podcast. So Zara, Megan, if you want to find out where you can go and play in competitions, have a look on that website there, and hopefully we can point you in the right direction and get you some events. And there might even be some events whereby you can caddy, and there might be some events which you don't have any caddies. So therefore, it can suit everyone. So that's what we got on the Progress Junior Golf website. This is what we've been doing on the Progress Junior Golf podcast as well. So thanks very much for both Megan and Zara for joining us, and also for Lauren and Laura as well for their pre-recorded interviews as well. And thanks very much everyone for watching, and we shall see you soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.